gentlemen, hello ladies and gentlemen. Today is my first day. It's the first episode of Let's Just Be Real. I'm BJ. The cameraman is my son Fat. He back in the background, cameraman. And this is a new podcast, and we're gonna try to do some positive stuff like keeping these young men out of prison, teaching single mom how to really raise a boy into a man, a little politics here and there, but we're going to try to stay off all the negative things. So we'll start by, I'm going to give you like an introduction of me. I'm BJ. I went to prison at age 16 on robbery, and I got out at age 27. And since being out, I've been very successful in my own way, I guess I would say. I've been very successful. Good paying job, healthy kid. Never been back to jail since I've been out, but that's about me in a nutshell there. But today's first topic is going to be about mindset. Mindset with raising young men. I have two boys, one 21, well one just turned 22, and the other one is 18. That's the cameraman, the 18-year-old. And we just, since getting out of prison and raising men, like it was just like raising myself the way I wish I would have had a father figure in my life to raise me, basically. And it started from day one. When you're raising young men, you got to start from day one. Everybody want their child's first word to be mama, dada. I'm more veered into the yes sir, no ma'am. Them the first words I wanted to hear, because getting out of prison, that what got me further in life, just being respectful. Going on job interviews, speaking to people, yes sir, no ma'am, and they never had a clue that I had ever been to prison. They just noticed I was real polite. So that was like a key thing I try to teach my kids. You can be the baddest man in the room, the dumbest man in the room, the funniest guy in the room, but if you're respectful, people are gonna always remember that respectful kid. And you gotta plant a seed when these kids are born. Like my kids, when they were born, my oldest, JD, I used to dress him in all Georgia Tech, everything, book bag, socks, everything. Even his room was painted Georgia Tech. And my youngest, the cameraman again, he was always dressed in Georgia Bulldogs. And people used to ask me like, why they wear that? And I actually was tricking them into believing that that's the colleges they have to go to. They have to just achieve, they got to do good in life just to get to Georgia Tech and the University of Georgia. And they've been like that from day one. They always thought they had to be successful and go to college. Like I instilled at them at an early age. And as they got older, I remember when my oldest son first got a car, the first thing I did was bought him a visor, a little visor, you know, the old CD visor that we used to keep in the car. I put that in there, and I put a dash cam in there, but I had his dash cam like placed on the passenger side, facing towards the door, his driver door, and a lot of people ask, especially him, Dad, why you got me on camera? Why you got me on camera? I said, dude, it's not for you. It's for when the police pull you over, the first thing they're going to see is this camera. So they're like safety proof in the car for a 16-year-old. And I tell people all the time, because I had one female, I asked, she was a friend of mine, she had a 16-year-old, and she had just bought him a car, and I asked her, like, did you have to talk with him? And she's like, what talk? I'm like, when you get a car, he got to know how to deal with the police. And he said, oh yeah, he know he got rights, so the police pull him over, yada, 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 he need to call his mom. I said, no, you're trying to get your child killed. And she like, what you mean? I said, the first thing I did was bought the visor, like I told you. They keep their insurance card, and the visor, and they keep their registration in the visor. So if the police pulled them over, they let down all the windows in the car, they turn front and back, hold the steering wheel, and when the police ask for the information, they reach for the visor and flip it out and show him from the visor. That way they're not reaching down in the car and the police get threatened. And I also tell them no matter what the police say, I don't care what type of day the police got, Yes sir, no ma'am, yes sir, no ma'am. Until if he give you a ticket, it's gonna be for being too respectful. Because the object of the game is to get home. If he did something in violation, you come home and let your parents take care of it. But as a child, you don't do that. You don't go back and forth to the police because you're not going to win that situation. And that was like, I wish I would have known these things growing up about like kids like to talk back, especially boys. They get a little huff and puffy on them and stuff. I had a couple of incidents with my kids. When they thought they was ready, they didn't know their dad had been locked up half his life, that he was about their life. So I had to put hands on them, and at the time they was mad at me like, Dad, why you so hard, or you so rough? And I had to explain to them like, I'm rough with you now because I love you, and I want to break your bad habit, because once you go outside that threshold of the door, don't nobody care about you being a nice kid. They don't care. The first time you raise your voice outside this door to a grown man, they're going to hurt you, because men don't like to be disrespected by kids. So I had to break my kids in the household. And being respectful, learning when to walk and when to talk. Like, you don't always have to be the bad guy, think you got to fight everybody. Sometimes it's just about making it home. That shows how real you are. If you know you can beat a person and he ain't really no threat, walk away, because it ain't worth it, because it takes like 2 seconds to go to prison, 2 second thought will see you to prison for the rest of your life. Just that simple. So you got to make smarter moves and think. And everybody said I'm an overthinker, and I think prison made me like that. I might play the scenario over my head like 50 times before I make a decision on it. And that's like a survival technique for me. And it helped me with a lot of things. I might say, okay, I'm gonna go to the store. No, I'm not gonna go to the store. If I go to the store, I need to get some sleep for work. I've been on play that over a million times in my head. So I just get up and go to the store and be through it. But I was very indecisive. But back on topic about raising young men though. A lot of single moms think these kids are their friends. That's where they mess up. They sitting at home and down these boys to talk back to them, disrespecting their siblings. They doing all this stuff at home. So when they go out in the real world and they talk back to a cop and get killed, talk back to a regular grown man on the street and get killed, they get a girlfriend, now they talking her crazy because they're used to the mom letting them talk crazy like that. So you got to break that habit. Your son is not your boyfriend or your friend. And you're going to have to be hard on them just in order for them to survive. Because you don't teach them at home, somebody's going to teach them in the street. And that's what you don't want. So tough love has always been my thing. And like I said, my kids, they don't supposed to like me. I just supposed to teach them how to be men. That's my job, to teach them how to take care of themselves one day. So they're going to say, Dad was hard, oh my God, but look at all the money I'm making now because he made me go this, he made me do that. So they're going to thank me in the long run, especially this one back here behind the camera. He don't think I know nothing. He 18, he know everything. But I got good kids, like my oldest in the Navy, and my younger one, he finna go be an airplane mechanic. So him and Daddy can fly free. That's what that's gonna be. But that's the main thing. That's what we're gonna focus on: keeping these young men off the street, and single my advice. You got a male in your life. Leave the child. Don't worry about child support. You're not paying child support. Let him raise that child. A woman cannot raise a man. And I had another friend of mine, she was like, well, I raised my son. I said, no, you fed your son. You clothed your son. That's not raising a man. You can't teach him temperament and how to react to certain situations, like when he get in the street or get at his job. He can't be emotional. That's a woman's trait. Once a woman don't raise her in his way, he's going to be emotional, like to argue all the time. Always got to have the last word. So them female traits. So you can tell when a man is being raised by a woman because he always hooping and hollering back and forth, always complaining, always that's women trait. You been raised by a woman. A boy that been raised by a man, most things don't even get up on this scheme, like whatever. My dad was way worse than that. Keep it pushing. Like my son went to the military. I asked, I said, JD, how was it in boot camp, did they hollering at you, bothering you? He said, no, sir, because you holler more than they do. And it was funny because I had on broken men. It didn't even bother him to go in the military. And you got to find out what these boys like. If you got a son, quit thinking every black kid got to go be in the NFL, got to go be in the NBA, because when it comes to NBA and NFL especially, most high schools are gonna have one scholarship. I say each state gonna have one scholarship, and you're gonna have to be number one in football or basketball to get these scholarships. But we got to focus more on like golf and tennis and wrestling. That's where all the scholarships money at. Whether your child like it or not, but if they want to go to college, that's an easy route to get the money. Wrestling, golf, tennis, anything that the average black kid wouldn't do it. That's where the money at. It's just sitting there. And another thing, women putting these kids on these football fields knowing they're not ready for football. Like, you're trying to get your child hurt, basically. You can't make a child tough. A child is going to be who he is, regardless. Mild mannered, or he's going to be the bully. One or the other, but you can't make them tougher than they are. And my oldest son, I know he's going to be mad at me for saying this, like, he loved football. He loved football. Loved it to death, wanted to be on the football team all the time. But he couldn't play a lick. He the sorriest guy on the team. And I used to tell him all the time, like, dude, you got to be a little more aggressive. I said, you go out there, lollygagging. Them other kids coming to play, the kid with dirty shoes, he's going to hurt you because he's trying to get out the hood. He's coming in the game angry, and you out there lollygagging. But once you get hit, now you mad all of a sudden. I said, football is not like that. You got to go out there on the field mad. So football was not his thing, so I had to take him off the team. His mama complaining like, well, BJ, he wanted us. I said, I don't care. He's not built for it, and you will get hurt. They playing their hardest, and you playing your softest, you will get hurt. It's not your sport. So I pulled him for football and put him in wrestling. Oh, he was whining, Dad, I don't want to wrestle, da, 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 da. After about 30 days, he came home one day like, Dad, they called me Mighty Mouse on the team. Who is Mighty Mouse? And I told him, YouTube Mighty Mouse. And it was a little strong mouse because my oldest son, real short. But he was the baddest wrestler for 2 years in his high school, #1. He was the baddest thing out there. He was real nice at it. But I seen he was short and stocky, so I basically pushed him toward what he was good at without him knowing it. I paid attention. He had 3 brothers. They wrestled all day. And he was the strongest one, so I knew where to put him at. And you got to pay attention to how your kids move. If your kid like to play video games and do all the stuff like my youngest son, he played them computer games all day. So I try to push him into a career that's going to use a computer or mechanical. Anything like using hand in his mind, that's what I try to push him to. I don't let them tell me what they want to do because they're kids. They don't know what they really want to do right now. So you got to pay attention to what they're good at. So even if they don't do it longer in life, at least they have the skill up under their belt, and it's something they're good at already. And another thing, like my oldest son, he's way more passive than my youngest son. My oldest one, he the laid back, cool kid. The young one, he ready to go off. Like, let's get it, I don't care. It's like black and white, opposite attract. The younger one off the chain and wire, the older one real laid back and passive. So I fed off my oldest son. He was a genuine good kid. He's genuine good kid. He do what he told. That's his nature. Yes sir, no ma'am. He don't disrespect nobody. And he wanted to be a cop. So I knew, you want to be a cop, go to the military to be a cop. Because one, you're going to get paid to do it. And at first, everybody like, why you letting him go to the military? Like, because I'm honest about my kid. He was more of an Indian than a chief. He's good at taking orders. The military is the best place for him for 2 reasons. He's mild-mannered and good at taking orders, for one. Secondly, the military is going to teach him how to speak up because he didn't speak up when he was younger. He'll just let you say what you're going to say. He just, whatever, as long as you don't touch me, he didn't care. But as a man, you got to learn how to speak up. Sometimes you got to say, look, I know you're an adult, but you're wrong about this situation because it's always how you say it, as far as being disrespectful. But he would not speak up. But sometimes you got to speak up. And the military that was the best thing happened to him. Now he worse than me. He come home fussing all the time. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, that how you sound? He's more a stand up in charge type of guy now. But my youngest, he buck on me every day. Anything I say, he be looking at me like, look, I don't want to hear it. Every time I get in the car with you just talk my ears off. And sometimes I just do it just to irritate him. I don't be care. But me and my youngest, that's like my best friend now. We hang out all the time. And he's actually finna go to school to be an airplane mechanic. And like I said, yeah, we're gonna be flying free. But that's the thing. Focus on what your kids are good at. And whatever they're good at, invest into that. Don't be trying to focus on what you like. You want to be a football star, a basketball star, a rapper. No. That's not where the money is. You got to get them in a career-driven field. Because my oldest, he went to the military like 2 days after his 18th birthday. Like, I'm pushing him out the house. Same thing with the youngest name, 18. I'm pushing him out the house at 18, going to live on campus. I'm not pushing them out there because I don't want to deal with them. I want them to learn how to handle their own business and be their own men before I die. So if they go out there and swim a little bit in the water and they get a little too deep, they come home, daddy gonna grab your dust off, and we're gonna try plan B. We're gonna try it again. But I got to push them out there because I don't know when I'm gonna leave here. So I got to teach them how to manage themselves without daddy being there. I'm gonna throw them out there in the wind every time. Then they don't come back. We dust it off, try it again. Keep going, but they got to try before I die because once I leave here, family or no family, the only thing family gonna do is show you how to spend the insurance money. They're not gonna show you what to do and how to invest. They're not gonna teach you all this stuff. So I try to teach them now while I'm living. And what my time looking like here? 17 minutes. Oh, this is a long hour. Pat, there anything you'd like to say? What do I do the most to irritate you to death? What do I do the most?
You're giving out random speeches.
Giving out random speeches. Yeah, that's me. I love to give out speeches. Cause I know if I say it one time, you're gonna forget. I said it 1,000 times. It's gonna like hit you subconsciously. When you out there doing wrong, you're gonna automatically, little dad gonna pop on your shoulder like, don't do it. That's why I just drill it in your head so much. I know it irritates you to death too. From random speech. You don't need like get in the car sometimes. You're like, Dad, I'm like, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say back. But that's basically what this podcast is gonna be on. Like, we're going to be keeping these young men out of prison, out these streets. And we're going to do it from a different avenue here. I'm not trying to tell these kids to go join the Girls and Boys Club, and that ain't me. If you're 17 and there's nowhere to go, they got trade schools, they got military, and I'm saying like the military is like being paid to be on vacation. Especially the Navy and the Air Force is the cheat sheet. If you look at like, don't never think I'm racist because I have a lot of white friends and black friends, whatever you want to say. But if you see why black people are more behind on everybody because we've been taught by other black people the wrong route. Even Michelle Obama, they try to come out. We need to go to school more. We need to get this education. We need to get this and get all that. I'm a truck driver. I know a lot of people with some master's degrees and doctorate degrees, and I still make twice their salary. So it ain't about all this getting degrees. The more degrees you got, mean the more debt you got, basically. Because like my kids, they knew there was no such thing as college unless you got a full scholarship. Show me you want to go. Go get all A's and honor roll and let the government pay for you to go to college. You can't go be a straight C student then I want to go to college. No, you ain't gonna do that to my pocket, and I'm not gonna let you do that to yourself. But at the same time, that's the thing. That's the cheat code. The military and trade school. A plumber make more than a teacher. Electricians make more than police and fire. They make all this stuff. A 2-year trade will put you over 6 figures all day. A 2-year trade will put you over 6 figures. And the military actually opened those free benefits, traveling all over the world, learning the trade, going to school, getting VA loans to get housing and stuff. The other nationality, they even come to America, they join the military. They go in the military for 4 years, now they got a house, they got cars, they got life insurance, they got everything. But we so stuck on thinking we got to go to college to achieve something. I don't want my kids in college at 18 getting student loans because you're starting out in life in debt. While everybody else getting the trades, going to the military, and they getting everything they want. And we as black people, we still stuck on this, especially, I hate to say it, black women stuck on, we the most educated in America, we got the most degrees, the most this. That don't mean nothing. You have all these degrees, but your paycheck down here. I drive a truck, my paycheck up here with no degree. And a degree, a doctor degree, a master degree, that do not make you smarter than the next person next to you. It don't make you smarter. It makes you say you got a certificate of what you was taught to do. You got an education to be a teacher, you're good at teaching kids. You got an education to be a lawyer, you're good at defending people. It's the same CDL. I got a degree in CDL, so I know how to drive a truck. So black people got to get off this stereotype because they got all these degrees that we are smarter than the next man. Because I know plenty of people with doctorate degrees versus I only have a GED, but they will put me in front of the camera to speak before they will put this person with these doctorate degrees. Because a lot of people we're educated but don't have common sense. They're just only good at what they've been taught. And that's what we got to get out of the black people. I need these kids to go to the trade school, especially like the union. You can bypass trade school and go to the union to be an electrician. They pay you from day one to be an electrician. You in the union, you always gonna work. They got the union for electrician, they got plumbers, and you just go in the door and you get hands-on training and they're paying for your schooling. So that's what we're trying to do now. We're trying to focus on getting these kids ahead. And I'm gonna stop right here and we'll see you next week on the next episode. Let's just be real.